Assalamualaikum everyone. My name is Sadia Education Wali. I'm student at Rehan College Korangi Campus, and uh, I'm currently enrolled in Teacher Training Bootcamp 1. Today we will discuss about how to make better decision and avoid regret. So let's start. Hello ChatGPT, my name is Sadia Education Wali, and today our topic is how to make better decision and avoid regret. So my first question is, what does it mean to make a good decision, and why is decision making such an important life skill?
Hey, Sadia, I'm really glad we're talking about this. So, a good decision is really one that aligns with your values, takes into account the information you have, and leads you toward your goals, even if it's not always perfect. And decision making is crucial because honestly, so much of our lives, our success, our happiness hinges on the choices we make. So, it really is a core life skill.
Okay, thank you ChatGPT for answering my question. So my next question is, why do so many people struggle to make decision?
Yeah, that's a really common challenge. I think a lot of people struggle because they either fear making the wrong choice, or they get overwhelmed by too many options, or sometimes they just don't know how to weigh what's most important. So it really is a balance of clarity, self awareness, and sometimes just practicing.
Okay, ChatGPT, what are the most common mistake people when making important decision?
Ah, great question. Some of the most common mistakes are things like rushing the decision, not gathering enough information, letting emotions completely drive them, or ignoring their long term goals in favor of short term comfort. So it's really about slowing down, being mindful, and balancing logic and intuition.
Okay, thank you for answering. So, what role do values and personal goals play in making better decision?
Oh, they're absolutely key. Your values act like a compass. They guide you toward choices that feel right for you at a deeper level. And your long term goals keep you focused on where you want to end up. So when your decisions align with both, they tend to be more fulfilling and meaningful in the long run.
Okay, ChatGPT, so how can people overcome the fear of making and the wrong choice?
Yeah, that's a big one. I think a few things can help. First, remind yourself that no decision is ever perfectly risk free. There's always some uncertainty. Second, focus on what you can control. Gather info, weigh your options, and then trust yourself. And remember, even if a choice doesn't go as planned, it's still a learning opportunity. You can adjust after.
Okay, uh, what are some practical steps for making thoughtful and confident decision?
Yeah, absolutely. A few practical steps. First, clearly define your options, write them down so everything's concrete. Then set a deadline so you avoid endless deliberation. Also, weigh pros and cons for each choice and check in with your values and goals. And once you choose, take action. Don't get stuck in second guessing.
Okay, sensibility. So, how important is gathering information before making a major decision?
Oh, it's really crucial. The more informed you are, the better you can weigh your options and anticipate consequences. I mean, you don't need every tiny detail, but having solid info gives you confidence in your choice and helps you avoid blind spots.
What should we trust our intuition, and when should we rely on facts and analysis?
That's a great balance to strike. Intuition is really powerful, especially when you have experience in a certain area, but it's most reliable when it's backed by some facts. So use intuition as a first signal, but then validate it with research, data, and careful analysis. That's when you get the best of both worlds.
Okay, so how can setting priorities help us make better decision?
Oh, definitely. When you know what matters most to you, it acts like a filter. You can quickly see which choices align with those top priorities and which ones are distractions. So it keeps you focused on what will truly bring you closer to what you want.
Okay, thank you for answering me. What can be learned from past mistakes without living in regret?
Yeah, that's a really important point. You can reflect on what happened, see what went wrong, and identify those patterns without beating yourself up. And from that, you can tweak your approach, build new habits, and just keep growing. So the past mistakes really become a source of wisdom, not a
Okay,
prison.
so how does overthinking affect decision making, and how can we avoid it?
Yeah, overthinking can really paralyze us. It makes the decision feel bigger than it is. To avoid it, try setting a time limit for yourself, like giving yourself 10 minutes to decide. Also, simplify the options. Sometimes just narrowing down helps. And remind yourself that no decision is final. You can always adjust.
Okay, so ChatGPT, how can students make better decision about their education and future careers?
Y- Yeah, for students, it's really about exploring options early, like researching different fields, talking to mentors, and getting real world experience through internships or projects. And then they should align those explorations with their goals and interests. So the clearer they are on what excites them, the easier it is to make confident choices.
Okay, so what advice would you give to professional facing difficult career decision?
Yeah, for professionals, I'd say take a step back and really reflect on your long term vision. What kind of impact do you want to make? What values do you want to honor? Then gather as much info as you can, whether that's market trends, skills you'll need, or even talking to people in that field.
Okay,
And don't be afraid to
so
test things out. Sometimes small steps give you clarity.
okay, how can strong decision making improve relationship and communication?
Oh, absolutely. When you make decisions thoughtfully, it builds trust because people see you're being intentional and fair. And being clear about your choices means you communicate more confidently, which reduces misunderstandings. So it really creates a more open and supportive dynamic.
Okay, can you share a real life example of someone who made a difficult decision and led a long team success?
Yeah, sure. A classic example is someone like Oprah Winfrey. Early in her career, she had a tough decision about leaving a stable job to start her own talk show. And even though it was uncertain, she trusted herself, and eventually it led to her massive success. So that willingness to make a bold, tough decision really set the course for her future.
Okay, if you could recommend only three principles for making a better decision and avoiding regret, what would be they?
Ah, great question. I'd say first, really define your values. Know what matters most. Second, gather and weigh the right information. Don't rush, but don't overdo it either. And third, give yourself permission to act. Once you've weighed things, take that step and adjust as you go.
Okay, so my last question is, what is your final message for anyone who wants to make a wiser choice, reduce regret, and create a more fulfilling life?
Yeah, I'd say remember that every decision is a step on your journey, not a final verdict. Stay connected to your values, be kind to yourself if things don't go as planned, and just keep learning and adjusting. You have what it takes to make meaningful choices.
Okay, thank you so much, ChatGPT, for giving your valuable insight. So, Allah Hafiz.
You're very welcome, Sadia. I'm really glad I could help. Take care and Allah Hafiz.
Okay, thank you so much for all of you guys for listening me and watching me. So, Allah Hafiz.